Now next we'll see what is address translation. We have discussed initially that there are two important duties of operating system. First is how to bring data from secondary memory to the main memory, and second is how to translate logical address to physical address. So this address translation is changing the logical address to physical address. Okay, so logical address is the address of secondary memory and physical address is the address of main memory. Okay. Okay. CPU generates a logical address for secondary memory. Okay, but the process is stored in the main memory, which has a physical address. Hence, there is a need to translate this logical address to the physical address. So, what I am saying here is CPU is here, which will generate a logical address to access a secondary memory, process in a secondary memory. But what we have done, we have brought the process from secondary memory to main memory, and main memory has a physical address. Okay, but the address generated by CPU is what? Logical. So there is some mechanism to translate this logical address to physical address. Why we want physical address? Because we want to access the process from main memory. Okay, so this is the entire um, this is the particular unit which will take care of translating the logical address to physical unit. Okay, physical address. So memory management unit, that is MMU, helps to generate physical address from logical address. In contiguous memory, if we know the base address, then you can access entire memory in continuous fashion. Here there are two registers shown, okay, limit register and relocation register. The relocation register gives us the value of the base address of the process in main memory. So suppose here I have shown 100, so 100 is the base address for the main memory. So relocation register gives us the value of the base address of the process in main memory. The relocation registers used to protect user processes from each other and from changing operating system code and data. There is one more register called as limit register. It contains range of logical addresses. Each logical address must be less than the limit register. So here we are assuring this. Okay, what we are checking here, the logical address must be less than the limit register. Whatever logical address is produced by the CPU, it should be always less than a limit register. So this is what we are going to verify here. Okay. So now let's solve one problem. Then you will come to know how it works actually. So here there are five processes shown: P0, P1, P2, P3, P4. This is a limit register address or value, you can say. Then relocation register, request logical address, physical address, and whether it is legal or illegal request, that we are going to see. So limit register has value 500. Okay, here. Relocation register, that is the base address, is 1200. Okay, and what is the logical address which is requested by CPU? It is 450. Now what I said is this logical address should be always less than limit register. So 450 is less than 500. Is it true? Yes. So what we are going to do is this base register address we are going to add to the logical address. So 1200 plus 450 is 1650, and I can get this process at 1650 in main memory. So this is a legal request. Now in the second process P1, the limit register value is 275. Okay. Then first thing what you have to check is whether your logical address, okay, which is requested by CPU, whether it is less than limit register. Okay. So here it is not less than limit register. So this is illegal request. Okay. Next P2. Now P2 is this 210 is less than 212. Yes, it is less. So what we have to do is you have to just add this base address to this and you will get the corresponding location in main memory. So 880 plus 210, you will get 1090. It's a legal request and you will find P2 in main memory. Okay. Similarly for P3. Now P3 450 is more than 420, so this is an illegal request. Then here for P4, P118 is greater than 80, so it is legal request. You have to just add this 200 plus 80, you will get 280, and you can find P4 in main memory. Okay, I think this is very clear now. Okay, so what you have to remember, always for a legal request, the requested logical address should be always less than limit register. That you have to remember. Okay. So in contiguous memory allocation, address translation is very easy, but space wastage is more due to external and internal fragmentation. External fragmentation is a severe issue as it occurs in large number. Defragmentation is a solution to overcome external fragmentation, but it will consume more time and hence system will be in halt state in between. Hence, non-contiguous memory allocation technique is used, which is also known as paging and segmentation. But in this, address translation is very difficult. Now, what is defragmentation? You must be aware, like you, in for hard disk also there is option of defragmentation. So what we do there is we try to rearrange all the memory blocks together, and you can get the empty space at one place and other data on another place. Okay, so this is called as a defragmentation in the very easy language. Okay, now we'll see what is non-contiguous memory allocation. Here we are going to discuss about paging and segmentation and frames. What is the meaning of page and frame? So paging is in this, what we do is we divide the secondary memory into a fixed size partitions. The size of each partition is same. These partitions are called as pages. So here you can see the secondary memory is divided into multiple partitions and the size of each partition is 1 KB. So each partition of the secondary memory is known as page. Okay, so they are all equal size partitions. Now what is frame? Frame is main memory when main memory is divided into equal size partitions and the size of each partition of main memory, okay, should be always equal to the size of the partition of the secondary memory. Okay, so each partition of the main memory is called as frame. Now, process is divided into multiple pages and stored in secondary memory. But it may not be continuously or contiguously. Okay, what is the meaning of this? Suppose this is your secondary memory. This is secondary memory, and we have multiple processes here. So, for example, this is P1, this is P2, this is P3. Okay, these are processes. And this is main memory. Main memory. Okay, what I said is the process is divided into multiple pages. Okay, the process is divided into multiple pages and stored in secondary memory, and it may not be contiguously arranged. So in main memory always we should write this first, operating system, then there are parts like frames, okay, partitions. Suppose this is already occupied, not available. This is also occupied, not available. So we can bring in P1 here, P2 here, depending upon the requirement, okay, and P3 here. So it is not contiguous. That's what I wanted to tell you. Okay, so it can be of any order. Okay, pages can be placed in main memory as frames in non-contiguous manner. Whenever the empty space is found, page is placed in the main memory as a frame. Hence, the external fragmentation is avoided. Now, next we will see address translation and also known as it is also known as address binding for non-contiguous memory. Okay, so translation of a logical address to physical address is difficult as the pages can be anywhere in the main memory. In previous case, in contiguous, we have to just remember the base address and we can just add that base address to the requested logical address, and we could find the physical address. But this is not the case here. It's very difficult in non-contiguous memory. Okay, so the why? Because the pages can be anywhere in the main memory. It is not in contiguous form. So they may not be in sequence. Memory management unit helps to convert logical address to physical address. Okay, logical address consists of two things. Okay, logical address consists of two things. First is P, that is a page number, and instruction offset. Okay, so D, which is shown by D, called as instruction offset. Okay, instruction offset is the line number of a particular page. Okay, suppose page number 1, line number 10. Okay, so page number 1 will be given by P and line number 10 is given by D. Okay, for example, if we want to I say that 345, okay, is this logical address. Okay, and this is my memory having multiple pages here, P1, P2, P3, and the size, page size is given as 100. Okay, so this is 100, 100, 100. Okay, so 345 will be where? 345 will be page 4. Okay, page 4 and line 45. Okay, so this is given by this P and D. Okay, so CPU stores the base address of the process, that is page number 1, page 1 address, and the last line of the page 1 contains the address of the address for the page 2, just like a linked list. Okay, and page 2 will have the address of the page 3 and so on. So what is the disadvantage? Here it is time consuming. The access will be sequential, right? This we had discussed initially also for non-contiguous memory. So it is time consuming to access page number n. Okay, we must go through all earlier n minus 1 pages. To overcome this problem, page table is used, which is a data structure and not the hardware. Okay, so what is page table? So page table is page table. Okay, so what is this page table? It's a data structure. It is not a hardware. Remember this. It contains the number of pages in the secondary memory. Every process has independent page table. Each entry in the page table will contain the page number and the corresponding frame number in main memory. Okay, that is the base address of the frame number in the main memory where the page is currently stored. Page table base register. Okay, PTBR. Page table base register is a special purpose register which will store the base address of the page table. Page number is accessed by the index and the process control block contains the address of PTBR, that is page table base register. Okay, so these two things you have to remember. Why we are going for page table? Because what I said, otherwise it will be very time consuming, because page number 1 stores the address for page number 2, 2 will store for 3 and so on. So we have to go sequentially. To avoid this, we are using page table. So page table has the what it contains. It contains the number of pages in the secondary memory, and every process has independent page table. That's what I explained you. Now we will see how it works. So here I have shown a CPU which generates a logical address. It has two parts, page number and instruction offset, and there is one page table, okay, PT, and PTBR, that is a special purpose register, page table base register, which stores the base address of the PT, that is page table. Okay, and where is PT stored? It is also in main memory. Okay, this you have to remember. It is not a hardware. Okay, it's a data structure. So from this logical address, we get the location of a particular location of page table, from where we'll get a corresponding frame. Okay, corresponding frame of main memory. Okay, which is shown as F2 here, and the instruction offset is already there. So we can find out a particular location in main memory, okay, to get a particular data for that particular instruction line. Okay, instruction offset. Okay, so this is how logical address is getting converted to physical address. Now, what is the advantages? Due to non-contiguous memory allocation, there is no external fragmentation here. Disadvantages, there are two disadvantages. First is, as the page size is fixed, the system suffers due to internal fragmentation. Okay, and second, main memory is accessed twice. How it is accessed twice? First thing, it will access for to find out a PT. Okay, to access the page table which is stored in main memory. So uh, that is added, that we are doing extra right here. First we will search main memory to find out the page table entry, and second is to access page after the physical address. So twice we are accessing main memory, so it is the time is wasted over this over there. So that is the disadvantage here.